I think it's time for a new video series. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a topic that really got started based on a conversation that we were having on a group flight, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I can't remember who said it. At any rate, someone said, I wish someone would have told me that. And we went through this whole discussion on the group flight about just how complicated it can be to make any, or to feel like you're making any progress in the hobby. So I thought it might be interesting to do a multi-part series here and really tackle peeling the onion, because there really is layer after layer after layer of things you just have to know, or you have to know them in order to get the most out of the experience. So we're going to draw from Flightsim 2024 and Flightsim 2020. I think a lot of these ideas and concepts will cross both platforms, and then we'll do some things that are specific. At any rate, I thought that's where we would start. So to that end, if you're brand new to simming, I think one of the things that you've got to do for yourself is to join the Microsoft Flight Simulator forum. So let's jump over there. And there's a lot here, and it can be intimidating. But, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and I think this one's an important one. So, beginning simmer tip number 1. I wish someone would have told me to join the official Microsoft Flight Simulator forum and start casually looking through some of the posts. And you're going to see a variety of things as you go through and do this, right? And you're going to have the classic whiners and complainers who are never satisfied with anything. So that's one extreme. And then the other extreme is going to be, oh, we love everything they do, and it's just rainbows and butterflies. And as we know, with all things in life, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Having said that, and I think that's really true of any kind of forum discussion, you're gonna get wide and varied points of view, and then you're going to also bear witness to what I call bandwagon syndrome, which is everybody is either loving or hating topic A, B, or product A or B. So at any rate, go join the forum. The other thing that I would say to you is that you need to take advantage of some of the things that are actually baked into the sim. So let's go jump over into Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And we're sitting here at the main menu. And let's go ahead and click on Start. Okay, it's going to take us to the main menu page here. And there's a lot of stuff to do. And regardless of how much you know about airplanes or aviation or anything else, I think there is high value in taking the trainings that are available to you to get your, in air quotes here, your private pilot's license on Microsoft Flight Simulator. But those tutorials are actually very well done. So they really talk about the basic kinds of things that you just aren't necessarily familiar with if all you have ever done is drive around in a car or a boat or a truck. So there are some different kinds of concepts that you need to get yourself familiar with. And the career mode is a great way to do that. In 2020, it's just the training tutorials, right? So the training headquarters did not exist. So my private pilot instructor is going to pop up here in a minute. So we'll let the headquarters load here. But again, I think there are some important things here. So I did progress far enough in the PPL certification just to try to see what the experience was like. And this was back early after launch, and we were having lots and lots of problems with the sim, with connectivity, with crashes to desktop, to bugs in general. So I didn't progress very far with missions or with continuing to increase the quote certifications, right? So, but at any rate, let's go ahead and click on. Go ahead and click on missions here. Let's see what else they've got lined up for me to do. So it's interactive. Oh, there we go. So the mission is to fly a little discovery tour, right? So this is just a tour around my local airport. So take advantage of this. It's there. It's available to you. But the educational part of this is just quite well done, right? So your private pilot first flight, and we finished that. There are different kinds of certifications that you can do. Go back here. Okay, so you can see I have completed the private pilot's license, but there are a number of progressions for you, right? Multi-engine rating, instrument rating, night currency, tail wheel endorsement. So again, it does mirror what's going on in the real world. Let's take a look at the private pilot stuff. So this is where the training information is buried. So it's going to teach you things about the basic controls of an aircraft. It's also going to help you learn how to manipulate what you're looking at, on a flat screen or in VR. In the real world, you can just move your head. So, and in one respect, I think flying in the sim is it's difficult because you're having to also manipulate your environment as you're doing so, instead of being a part of the environment. If that makes any sense at all. So there's some coverage about the primary control surfaces in the aircraft, so you learn about all the different aircraft parts and how they help you uh, pitch up and pitch down, or you change your attitude, how to turn or roll. Uh, Talks also a little bit about basic power management. Again, I wasn't trying to get hundreds on all this before I moved on. I wanted to progress, take a look at the experience that it offered, and just see what was what. Um, so there's some maneuvering tests built in, a pre-flight checklist to get you used to taking a look around your aircraft, taxiing, what's proper technique with that, which is important, and then taking off, and then working on landing skills with managing the yoke and also the throttle, right? So your flight controller, whether it's a yoke or a joystick, and then also managing your power to make a good landing. And then there's some continuing on with, flying a basic pattern, flying a solo. All those things I think are important, and they're especially important if you've never been in an airplane as a student or on a informational kind of ride at all. This is a great way to help you get started. And there are tons and tons of resources that are available out on the web. But I did want to touch straight up on really the power of doing these learnings. And there are so many great people out on the web to learn from. And I think one of the challenges that you're probably going to bump up upon early on in your flight sim journey is having to wrestle with controllers. So any piece of hardware that you purchase for your computer, whether it's a joystick or if it's rudder pedals or some sort of throttle mechanism or a radio panel, you're going to have to get it configured, and it's not without its set of frustrations. Let's just put it that way. So the other thing that I wanted to make sure that I pointed out, in this particular video, is go out on YouTube. If you buy a bit of kit for your flight sim hobby, do your research. Look at a lot of different points of view and perspective, and balance what you're hearing from other people. I think that's an important thing because, quite frankly, there are folks out there who are, for the lack of a better term, in my humble opinion, selling snake oil. So it just pays to be cautious and judicious, and you're going to find that there are quite a few YouTubers out there that are straight up. They're going to tell you exactly what they think. They're not going to sugarcoat it to try to appease a vendor that might have tossed something new for them to try early, or given them something to try in order for them to get eyeballs on a page, I guess is another way of saying that. So there are a lot of different directions to go, and it can be overwhelming. So last but not least, again, we're going to go take a look at one of my favorite YouTubers, and there are a bunch, right? I picked this one because it fit number one with my previous bit of content that I had in my outlines, talking about hardware. And if you want someone YouTube channel who's going to teach you about flight sticks and throttles and desk mounts and all sorts of peripherals, you just can't do any better than Sim Hanger Mark. His channel is absolutely outstanding. So, and he has 72,000 subscribers for a reason. So, and I think another reason why I wanted to include him in this particular video as well is, I guess it's been about 2 weeks ago, he published a video that the title of it, I think, was "Can You Believe a Word I Say?" He was really kind of talking about the state of the sim, and then particularly addressing Flight Sim 2024, and then offering his take and insight in terms of what are you getting out of folks who are publishing things on YouTube. And it's unfiltered, and it's straight to the point. So I think you'll enjoy Mark's enthusiasm. He's very passionate about the flight sim community, and he's very, very interested in helping other people enjoy the hobby. But again, there are tons and tons. But give Sim Hanger Mark a look. And then I guess we'll close this particular video with, well, what's next? What do I really need to do? And I think it comes down to basics. So you've completed the training. Don't fall victim to the flavor of the day. And it's easy to do. And what do I mean by that? Once you join, the Microsoft forum, or if you go out on Discord and you do a search on Microsoft Flight Simulator, you're going to get into communities where people are, are talking about the latest and greatest thing that just hit the marketplace. And you're going to find some cool stuff that way. But the other thing I think is you're going to be chasing the dragon. And really what you need to be chasing is competency. It's building some time on an aircraft. And it's real easy to jump into the sim and go through the 60 or 70 airplanes that are included just with the 2024 standard. It's overwhelming. And a lot of these aircraft are going to operate very, very differently from one another. But I wholeheartedly recommend you start with the Cessna 152 and you stick with it. Because it's going to help you be a better sim pilot later. Because you're going to get to know the aircraft. And one fun way of, dealing, I guess, with, what some people might say is, boring about the Cessna 152, I just counter that with, there's a reason why this aircraft is used in flight training schools everywhere. It's a great way to build your chops. All right, so let's go jump onto the runway here. So I'm visiting my local airfield here, so this is not terribly far from the Flying Doghouse's doghouse. I go fly in your local area and explore the terrain. It will make you a better visual flight rules pilot, right? Learn your local airfield. And we're loading here into Concorde. Okay, so we're sitting at the end of the runway in Concorde. Let me change the time of day here too. Got a wee bit early. Here we go. Okay, that'll work. All right, so by concentrating on one particular aircraft, and I guess this is really the point that I wanted to drive home, you're going to know where to look to be able to react to what's happening to you during the flight. You're not going to second guess yourself in terms of, oh, well, where was that switch? Oh, how do I deal with that? Oh, I've got an engine fire. I need to feather the prop. I need to find where the fire extinguisher mechanism is in the cockpit. If you fly a crap ton of airplanes and you don't get familiar with any of them beyond the level of surface detail to be able to just take off and land, then you're not really going to progress, quite frankly, in the hobby. And there's really no second guessing that. Now, having said that, certainly there are people who are flight simming whose goal is just to get in the airplane, have some fun, and they're off and running, and they're going to be happy campers, and they're going to enjoy themselves. but they're not really digging deeper. And people will dig to the level of depth that they're interested in. So I'm not criticizing that particular interest set. It's perfectly valid. Jump in an airplane, have some fun, experience something that you wouldn't have the opportunity to experience otherwise. But stay out of the marketplace. And I know I've got some channel subscribers who are laughing at that because I bought my share of airplanes, but I also have real world experience. And I also, when I buy something, if I really like it, I fly the heck out of it. And I'll give you an example. Right now, I am flying the Cessna 414. I love it. I spend a lot of time in it. I know where the switches are. I know where the breakers are. Um, it's I guess another way of saying that is have an airplane that is your comfortable pair of shoes to use to push your knowledge forward. So, at any rate, so this will wrap up video number 1 in the I wish someone would have told me that series. But the flight sim just keeps getting better and better. Flightsim 2024 is definitely making some headway in terms of addressing some of the problems and issues and concerns that we've had with the release. There's still a long way to go, but think about what flight simming might have looked like 25 or 30 years ago when some of us started out on our gaming journey. So anyway, the key, I think, the magic part of all of this to wrap up is have fun. And if you're not having fun, then spend your time, doing something that is fun. But I think with some effort and some elbow grease and some stick-to-itiveness, this is a very, very rewarding hobby, and it will afford you the opportunity to meet some great people. So with that, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. We'd love to have you as a channel subscriber here at the Flying Doghouse. And until next time, I hope everyone is keeping well and be kind to each other. With that, cheers, y'all.